Hey, welcome back to Copperhead Customs and welcome to a new episode. What's happened? The Bedford is out in the weather. Something's happened to it. You'll have to stay tuned to find out what. Reaper. Alright, well, as you can see, it's all changed down here. The beamer's down. Why would the beamer be down here? The Bedford's sitting out in the weather, not under the carport. And there's these two big, they look like drag marks. Well, yes, if you can put two and two together, this has had the skull drag this down here and literally skull drag. That's what we had to do. So, I took it for a test yesterday. We bled the brakes. We got the rear brake line in, so we connected all that up and bled the brakes. And I started hooking up the batteries, and I did something else. I don't know what else I did something else to it. And then I thought, I did the trans. I filled up all the trans fluid because it was a bit low. Because it wasn't, I didn't know if it was shifting in all the gears. So then I went, all right, let's take it for a spin. So I had it down here and I zooshed up the driveway, woo, and out in the road. I got down the road and I put my foot down and went flying off down the road. And we probably got to 60 k's, 30, 40 mile an hour. And all of a sudden, the whole arse end locked up and basically nearly put my head through the windscreen. So there's no seat belts in it. And I'm sitting about here on the windscreen. So anyway, she locked up the arse end. Like literally, it locked it up. So I didn't know what had gone on, if we'd blown up the motor or the gearbox or what we'd done, or if the brakes had caught. For a closer inspection, I'm 99% sure that we have disintegrated the diff somehow. So I think we can get a tiny little bit of movement, about that much, out of the wheel when we drag it, but there's no movement from the diff center. Does not move at all, and the tail shaft does not move at all. So I would say that the diff center itself is just totally, I don't know, it's totally destroyed. So anyway, what we have to do now is jack it up. We'll probably pull the mud guards off, get the wheels off. Looks like we're ripping the diff out. So I've already sourced one. Hopefully we can pick it up tonight. But in the meantime, let's get this one out. We will have to pull all our brake components off. And we can probably rebuild this later on. We'll probably buy another Centaur and redo this diff later for a later date for something else. But at this stage, I'm just going to buy a whole new one. I found one that needs the brakes, has no brake components, but it has new bearings in the axles, new seals, gaskets. So hopefully it's a decent one. And we'll get that. We'll stick all our new brake components on it, and we should be back driving it again like that. So luckily, we'd already released. Luckily, we had already released the budget and done our first drive, because the diff's 250 and it would have blown our budget by 200 bucks. But we've already released the $5,000 budget and we pulled it off. And what happens? Who cares, eh? It's not a biggie. It's a little diff. Seriously, in racing, we change a diff out in between heats. You know what I mean? Just about. So it's not a big deal. Cheap part. And yeah, it's not that much work. Anyway, let's get to it. A few hours, we should have it out. Ripper. Right, guys, so this is what we have to do. We have to undo these two brake lines. Easy peasy. And I'm just moving myself. Now there's a bolt on there, hopefully you can see that, little nut there that holds that hose. Half inch, I'm pretty sure, so we've got to undo that. That will mean that will leave our brake hose on the car. Now these brake lines will come off of this diff. We'll do that once we get it out. We've got to undo the four nuts under there. You can see them for our U-bolts, which holds the diff to our leaf springs, yeah, and our lowering blocks. We've also got to undo the bottom bolt there of our shock. Okay, so that the shocks will just dangle, and then if we, sorry, it's got to move. We duck under here. We've got two this side and two the other side. Little bolts, little U-bolts, nuts and bolts, which holds our universal joint there, which bolts our. So now this thing's in. See that? That is locked. This thing is in neutral and that thing is locked tight. So we've definitely got some issues in this diff center here. I don't think it's axles. I think it's definitely the diff center has let go in a bad way. I've never known of a car to do this. So you drop your comments if any of you that know about this. I've never known of one to just lock up like this. So something's badly gone astray in there. So basically that's it though. Once those brake lines are undone, which we've done, we get rid of that hose. We've got the 4 bolts here. We've got a shock bolt either side and the 4 uni bolts. Then the diff, we'll pull the diff out to the side. We'll stick it up on the bench. Then we'll go and pull all our brakes and brake lines off of it. And then we will have a little look-ski inside it and see what we can see. So I think I'll try to set yours up down under here and we'll go from there. Arepa. We are back. I've had a bit of a smile on my face. You gotta laugh. So I've never seen a diff in this condition ever. It was somewhat my fault and somewhat not my fault, okay? But as you can see, I can't see any fluid coming out of that, can you? No, not one skerrick. And so I did this last little bit off camera. You seen I was pulling this brake apart, but I couldn't pop the axle. So you put the drum on back the front onto your axle, put a couple of nuts on, use it as a slide hammer, but the diff was moving around too much, so I had to actually get me mate over quickly to give me a hand. So I quickly did that off camera, and oh, I did buy the bearings to do this job, remember? I did buy all the parts to do this, and I couldn't be blowed. And, well, check the state of it out. This is just our axle, our first axle. It's got a bit of rust on it. And the bearing, well, it's moving, but it's not real flash. Anyway, have a look in there. Yeah, this thing has been, seriously, through about 3 floods, I'd say. So, we went and did the other side. It's not much better. We'll have a look in here. I'm laughing because it's just like, it serves me right. This is the one part of the car we didn't go through because I couldn't be bothered. Look at our diff center. So this thing was never going to work, man. This, have a look at it. That's just been swimming. Right, so that is completely nipped up. There is no movement in this whatsoever. So I don't know if it's these bearings or these bearings that are gone. There's some fresh shapings, but check the rust out. I had a little scrape on the wall here. Oh, we got some oil. Look. Anyway, I think we'll just put this to the side. We'll rebuild it one day, I'd say. I think I'll just throw that out and get a new center. And I'll give that a clean. I don't know, we'll see what happens. I actually have found one complete. I don't know if I said, but it's got new axle bearings in it and new gaskets. I think a new center gasket, new gaskets there, I think, in it. So, no brakes. So I'm waiting for him to get back to me, but people these days are a little bit painful to deal with, a lot of them. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But otherwise, there's a heap of diff centers. Now I'm pretty sure this diff center, I'm pretty sure that's telling me it was a 293, yeah? Oh no, sorry, look at this. I'm an idiot. It was a 355. It was a 355 ratio. So that's what we want. We want another 355 ratio, hopefully. I suppose they put that in because this was a 1-tonner chassis, so it would have had weight in it, yeah? That's why they would have had that ratio in it, because it would have had weight. It was to get it off the line, because otherwise it'd be a slug. So yeah, we want to see if we can get another one of those ratios. And yeah, so whether we buy another center and just clean all this out, we'd have to put the new bearings on the axles, which I don't really know how we get them off. I think they have to be pressed on. I'm not quite sure about that. I'll have to do some research on that. So I haven't done them for, I've done them years and years and years ago, but I haven't done them for a long, since I was about 18 I haven't done them. So anyway, hopefully this other diff comes through and we'll basically just put our brakes on it, throw it in, and we're done. Alright, so I think the plan now is basically to just throw all of this back on the tray, put the cover over it, and we will re-adjourn once I get my diff center. My diff, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, Reaper. Well, we're in the car. We've got little Derek looking a bit different after his trip to the vet. We're going to get this diff, so hopefully it's good. Reaper. We are back, we're home, we've got our diff. As you can see, there it is, whoop-de-doop-de. Right, so let's see how we go. I've got to pick that sucker up by myself, they weigh a little bit. And we've got to shove it on in, bolt it all back up, and then redo all our brake malarkey. We've got some new oil to put in it, and yeah, and then we'll stick all this we'll do something with this. I don't know, we'll just push that out of the way for now. We'll look at that another day. Anyway, should be the same ratio, everything 355. So yeah, I just got to lift it up. It's going to take a bit of oomph, and then we'll get it under there and we'll bolt it all back in first, I think. Then we'll reassemble all our brakes and see how we go. Anyway, let's get to it. Reaper. Alright, we're back. And we've done it. Well, we haven't tested, but it's all the work's done. The brakes are all connected. They fought me badly. The brakes are all done. Diff's in, oil's put in. So we'll hook up the jump pack. The batteries still aren't charged. We'll hook the back jump pack up. And bad camera work, sorry, but I'm trying to do this as well. We'll hook the jump pack up and we'll take it for a quick spin. Now my camera is about to die any second, so I'm not going to fritz around. What I will do is we'll get some footage driving, but I'll say thanks for watching now, and hopefully we've fixed this sucker. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned, we've got a couple more on this randomly, but we're mainly onto our other projects now. So fingers crossed it works, and the last thing you'll see is me driving it. Alright, Reaper. Got you on. Hopefully you don't fall down. Make it, go back down, start again. You don't get this driveway right. Our guard, it's a bit low. Flat spots on those tyres now, guys. Still not convinced the transmission's changing gears. Definitely first. do you reckon? I'm still convinced about the trans. We still could be low on oil, but to do another check on the fluids. Chase in a second. There you go, test drive is a success. I think we need a bit more adjustment on the brakes. We haven't overheated yet, but we're getting warm. Alright, repar. So I will say now, thanks for watching. See you next time I'm looking at you. Rip-pa-pa-ba-dee-pa-pa-ba-dee-ba-dee-ba-dee-pa-pa.